A kind day to you all, I'm Kinsmarck, and I come once again with news of changes to Blacklight Retribution. As it happens, I had actually intended to cover this game again for some time now, as I learned a few things about it after the last episode that I wanted to comment on in somewhat more critical detail. Among the features I missed in my initial coverage of the parity patch were the apparent removal of the free hero and receiver rotations, the revision to the gear progression system, especially regarding the pricing of customization items, which is that weapon components are cheaper than they once were now, however, purchases are now per receiver. Accessories owned for one receiver don't carry over to others and require separate purchases, accounting for the decrease in part prices. An exception exists, however, for components purchased pre-parity patch. I had also set myself on criticizing Hardsuit Labs after finding out what Blacklight Prime was, which, one might recall, I saw that I had in the previous episode, yet didn't know what it was. The simple version is, the console parity patch changed players' ability to permanently purchase components, gear, and receivers requiring Prime to do so. All players without Prime could only rely on rentals, albeit pretty fairly priced ones. The catch is, Prime was essentially a premium account, and cost new players $5 to acquire. Apparently, as I found out, players with pre-parity accounts were automatically given Prime as, I suppose, some kind of reward for sticking out the changes. I was happy to receive it, and yet I couldn't applaud its implementation on principle, and I think it's pretty clear why. And then I saw the recent content patch, and I completely changed my tune, as well as the outline for this entire episode. Along with adding in some seasonal cosmetics for the holidays and fixing certain aspects of the in-game friends list, private matches, and allowing for level-restricted matches, the most recent patch completely removed Blacklight Prime. I was pretty shocked to hear that myself, as it's rare for companies to retract premium features like that once implemented. As amends, it was replaced for those who have it with a GP duplicator, which simply doubles one's currency accrual and comes with a special little title in-game. I know some may still get angry with this, as it isn't necessarily what they originally paid for, and I can certainly respect that. However, I think the change is most certainly a positive one for the community and the game as a whole. What's more, the recent content patch also removed the level restrictions on all items, completely removing the grind necessary in the past to simply reach the ability to spend one's currency on a wider variety of arms and armor and customizations. So, as far as I'm concerned, a few smaller issues like UI design and some weapon rebalancing issues aside, I think it's safe to say I can recommend Blacklight Retribution with more confidence now than I ever could in the past. The mitigation of the grind is an incredible relief, as it was one of the only major points of criticism I've had with the game since its inception. So, all that said, let's celebrate this joyous occasion with a little fireworks. I've connected, I am cock-locked and ready to rock, so let's kick a little seasonal ass, shall we? This time, I shall keep in mind that I have the HRV. It seems like I'm in a pretty low population server, so I think I'm in for a pretty interesting little hunt. So let's see. I actually haven't explored this map all that much, as it's one of the ones that came with the parity patch, and so I've only played on it a small handful of times. Alrighty, where are they? One is trying to flank, the other seems holed up in this facility. Whoa, hi there. Tag. Alright, let's see if I can catch this guy sleeping. Whoa! Ah! Well played. And that's one of the heroes I enjoy the design of. I can appreciate the aesthetics. And I am kind of sad to see the removal of the free hero and receiver rotations, because I enjoyed it as a sort of try prior to purchase sort of system. And it was always kind of an interesting temporary novelty to to try playing as some of the heroes, especially when they came complete with some of their personal loadouts and special weapons, some of which one couldn't even construct approximations of from the parts available in game, so they were pretty unique characters to play as. And yet, as far as stats are concerned, as far as I'm aware, they were always comparable to things one could construct of components available to players anyway. So they weren't exactly a premium sort of thing as much as they were presets that already kicked ass. And I kind of like that. Uh-oh, I might have just given my position away. Yep. Where's he heading? Alright, he's coming right there. I think he has an HRV shield, because I couldn't see him clearly. Alright, I'm covered in acid! I still need to get some of those ammunitions. The special ones. Ow! Alright, I'm impressed with that shot, because that was with a standard assault rifle. Alright then. So, I think it's safe to say, considering that Hardsuit Labs are apparently aware of the community and the feedback they're receiving from it, such that they're even willing to, as I said, rescind premium features once implemented, that I can see this enjoying a pretty significant revitalization, as I can still consider it easily one of the finest free-to-play FPS games on the market currently. And so the removal of the kind of pay-to-winish features that were starting to get implemented is, I think, absolutely going to end up saving this. And so, I think I just might come around to resuming a certain series that I had shelved some time ago when it seemed like this game was stagnating, especially in the interim from it getting passed from the original devs Zombie to the current devs Hardsuit Labs. And in that time, it was, I think, a year stretch. As far as the PC version is concerned, it was, you know, it hadn't received any updates, it hadn't received any additional content, it was lagging well past the console version, and so I was starting to get pretty concerned that the PC version wasn't actually, like, destined to stay online for much longer. And yet, I consider those concerns assuaged, as it were. And I am incredibly relieved for it, because I've always had a soft spot for this game. I appreciate its art style, I like its pacing, I like its handling. The weapon customization is incredible, especially, again, considering the free-to-play nature of it. It's just a very well-made game, and I was concerned that, you know, the model would kill it, and that's such a shame, and yet, here we are, with a considerable solution. So anyway, since the level restrictions are removed for, say, armor, for receivers, etc., I may very well start up a series I had considered starting some time ago. And in that I mean a year plus ago.
2 minutes till it's filled.
Attempting to construct either replicas of real-world weaponry or conceptual ideas of combinations of components within this system and testing them out. And if they work, coming up with some combinations that I could recommend. And I've always kind of found myself a little hesitant to create any sort of series like that, as I ain't a pro. I like to think of myself as pretty skilled. Team Warlord eliminated. Alright, so I think I can come up with a respectable case there. And yet, I also recognize I'm certain there are a great many who are far superior in their technical knowledge and their performance of this game and its mechanics and its systems, etc., etc. Ah! And so I'm always hesitant to put forward concrete advice as far as recommendations. So I think I'll stick to what I am most confident in my ability to create content for, which is to say conceptual ideas, speculation, field testing, as it were. So feel free in the comments if you have any ideas that you might like to see me test. Let me know. I can't promise that I can honestly... Whoa! Alright, I found the entire squad. I should have checked with the HRV. However, I will make as many attempts as I can to try things that are recommended. Ha-ha! A single point! And I think, since I was in the top 3, and I haven't played in a couple of months at this stage, I think that's pretty snazzy on my part. And I think I'll leave this episode here. I simply came to celebrate and share the news of the changes that I think will lead to a certain resurgence for this game on the free-to-play market. So, I am Kinsmarck here at Last Level Press. Thank you all kindly for watching, and as always, I wish you all good gaming and Godspeed. Oh! Oh god, there's so many! Oh god! I didn't think there would be that many! Oh wow!